Hey there, and welcome. We're about to crack open a huge mystery of the internet, and it's all about an IP address you've definitely seen before. We're gonna figure out how this one, seemingly impossible address is also one of the most common ones out there. So let's get right into it.
Welcome to Super Courseva. Unlock the secrets of the internet and master computer networking. Let's dive in.
Okay, so here's the big question. You've probably seen this number, right? 192.168.1.1. Maybe when you were setting up your Wi-Fi router. But here's the weird part. So has your neighbor and your buddy across town. In fact, millions of people all have that exact same address for their router. So how on earth is that possible?
I mean, it really shouldn't be. Think about it. An IP address is basically a street address, but for the internet. It has to be totally unique, otherwise how would data know where to go? It's like having two houses with the exact same mailing address. The mail would never get delivered. So what's the deal here? How does the internet not just break?
Well, to get the solution, you gotta understand the problem that created it. And this wasn't some kind of bug or a weird glitch. It was a full-blown crisis, a math crisis. The internet was literally running out of numbers.
See, back in the 80s, when the internet's address system, what we call IPv4, was being built, they had about 4.3 billion unique addresses to play with. And at the time, that seemed like an ocean. I mean, 4.3 times billion, who could ever use all those up? It felt infinite.
Well, turns out we could, and we did. Fast forward to the 90s, and suddenly that infinite number was looking tiny. You've got the explosion of PCs, then phones, servers, you name it. Suddenly, 4.3 billion addresses for a planet full of people, each with multiple devices? Yeah, the math just wasn't adding up. We were heading straight for a wall. We were about to run out of internet addresses.
And that's where our solution comes in. It wasn't some fancy new piece of hardware, but actually just a really, really smart rule. Think of it like a piece of internet lawmaking that came up with this brilliant, super elegant fix for this giant headache. It's called RFC 1918. And RFC just stands for Request for Comments. It's basically the collection of official rules and agreements that make the whole internet work. This particular rule, 1918, did something amazing. It created a whole new category of addresses, private, non-routable address space. Basically, a special club of numbers that play by different rules. The whole idea behind it was, kind of simple, but totally revolutionary. The engineers basically said, okay, we're running out of public unique numbers. So what if we set aside a few blocks of numbers that are explicitly not public? They won't belong to any one person or company on the internet, which means everyone can use them over and over again in private.
Okay, I know that might sound a little abstract, so let's use a really simple analogy. I promise this will make it all click.
All right, think of the entire public internet like the global phone system. Every phone number in the world has to be one of a kind, right? You can't have two people with the same number. But now think about an intercom system inside an office building. The extension to call the front desk only needs to be unique inside that one building. The office right across the street, they can have an extension 101 too. And there's no problem, no conflict at all, because those numbers never ever leave their own private little world. You can't pick up your cell phone, dial 101, and expect to reach that specific desk. It's a purely local address.
And that's it. That is the big aha moment. Your home network? It's just a tiny private intercom system. That 192.168.1.1 is just your local extension 101. My home network is a totally separate intercom system. We can both use the same internal numbers because they were never ever designed to be seen by the big public internet.
So the key to this whole thing is a very strict rule. Inside your own little network, your house, your laptop, your phone, your smart TV, they can all chat with each other using these private IPs. No problem. But the instant, a piece of data with one of those private addresses tries to get out onto the public internet, the giant routers that act like the internet's traffic cops are programmed to do one thing. They see that private address and they just drop it. It's not allowed out. End of story. So what do these private addresses actually look like? Well, RFC 1918 didn't just create one big bucket of them. It actually set aside 3 specific zones, each one designed for a different size network. And here they are. These are the 3 main ranges you'll run into. If you ever see an IP address that starts with a 10, that's almost always a huge network, like a big corporation. See one starting with 172.16? That's usually for a medium-sized business. And then there's our celebrity, anything starting with 192.168.
That's the block reserved for small networks, which is exactly why pretty much every home router on the planet uses it.
All right, so this all makes sense, right? We've got these private intercom numbers to save the limited supply of public ones. But wait a minute. This brings up one last really obvious question.
Yeah, think about it. If your computer has a private IP address, and we just said those aren't allowed on the public internet, then how are you watching this right now? How does your computer escape from its private little intercom system to go talk to servers out on the real web?
The answer is another really clever piece of the puzzle. It's a technology that acts like a translator, sitting at the border between your private network and the public internet. It's called NAT. That stands for Network Address Translation, and it's the magical gateway that makes it all work. Now, how that works, well, that's a story for our next explainer. So, the next time you see that familiar 192.168 address, you'll know it's not a mistake. It's the brilliant hack that literally saved the internet from running out of space. Thanks for joining me.